If you're gearing up for the updated 2026 TOEFL exam, you've probably noticed this one task in the writing section that calls for a sharp, focused response. I'm Olivia, a TOEFL Test Prep expert at Study.com. Since Study.com is the official TOEFL Test Prep Partner, our practice materials are developed in collaboration with the makers of the test. So what you practice is what you'll face on test day. Today, we'll tackle the write an email task, one of 3 brand new additions to the writing section. We're going to break down how it works, walk through some practice questions, and master the strategies you need to write emails quickly and confidently. Let's get started. The updated 2026 TOEFL writing section has 12 items that you must complete in about 23 minutes. This includes building sentences, writing for academic discussions, and the one we're focusing on today, writing emails. In the write an email task, you're given a scenario. It could be something academic or a social situation. Your job is to communicate a specific message, like making a recommendation, sending an invitation, or proposing a fix for a problem. And you only have 7 minutes to finish it. So what are the graders actually looking for? They're checking for 4 things. First is task fulfillment. That means following social norms and hitting the goal of the email. You must also keep things clear, making sure your writing is easy to follow and has enough detail. Beyond that, they want you to showcase your English with a good mix of grammar and vocabulary and nail the basics like spelling and punctuation. It sounds like a lot for 7 minutes, but once you have the right flow down, it's totally manageable. Let's look at a practice question so you can see exactly how this might look on test day. Imagine this scenario pops up on your screen. Here's your mission. You need to write an email to Liam sharing why being eco-friendly matters, recommending 2 different ways to make the picnic sustainable, and asking if he's already got any green activities in mind. How do you approach this? To get a top score, you should go beyond just answering the questions. To begin with, set the right tone. Since you're writing to a cousin, your email should feel warm and natural. A greeting like, "Hi Liam, it's so great that you're thinking about the environment for the picnic," immediately makes the response friendly and realistic. Next, the graders want to see you expand on your ideas. Don't just say, "Reusable plates are good." Explain why. Reducing waste is important because it helps keep our local parks clean and sets a great example for the kids. That extra detail makes your writing seem more thoughtful. Then make your recommendations specific. Mention the reusable plates from the prompt, but also add your own ideas, like a compost station or digital invitations. You also want the email to be conversational instead of robotic. Phrases like "on top of that," "speaking of which," or "I was also thinking" connect your ideas smoothly. And don't forget the final part of the task. End with a clear question about Liam's plans. This shows you can follow instructions and maintain the flow of a real conversation. Now let's flip the script. Look at this question. This next prompt moves from a social setting to a professional one. Since you're emailing a manager at work, your tone should be respectful, helpful, and solution-oriented. Start by acknowledging the issue in the prompt. Instead of jumping straight into your opinion, mention the employee's complaints first. By saying, "While I love the move away from plastic, I know a few people have found them a bit inconvenient to use," you show that you understand both sides of the situation. Next, think about the communicative goal. In a workplace email, strong responses explain how the idea benefits everyone involved. Notice how the response mentions the employee experience alongside the company's recurring costs. That makes the suggestion seem practical, not just personal. Also, pay attention to how the request is phrased. Since Tom is a manager, the response avoids sounding demanding. Instead of "put reusables in the cafeteria," it asks, "Is there a way we could introduce this option?" This hits those social conventions by keeping the tone respectful. Finally, remember that you're writing under time pressure. Don't try to sound overly advanced. Clear and direct writing usually scores better than long, complicated sentences. Pause the video here and try this 3rd question on your own. Now let's look at this response. Let's break down what makes it effective. This example works well because it comes across as personal and genuine. Since you're writing to a friend, you don't have to be stiff. However, you still need to be thoughtful. Opening with "It's so exciting to hear that you're moving" immediately creates a friendly tone. The advice also feels realistic because the writer explains ideas naturally instead of just listing them. Saying "it's honestly one of the smartest investments" is much more personal than simply stating facts. Notice too how the response balances detail with conciseness. A weaker response might simply say "solar panels are good for the environment." Here, the response adds explanation and detail. It explains why insulation matters and how solar panels help without becoming overly long or repetitive. That balance is really important during a timed task. The vocabulary is also specific without appearing forced. Phrases like utility bills, carbon footprint, and upfront costs fit the topic naturally and make the writing appear more polished. Finally, the response fully completes the task. It gives 2 recommendations, explains both clearly, and ends with a question about Clara's budget. Even strong English won't help much if you miss one of the required parts of the prompt. So here's a simple formula to keep you on track during the test. Greeting, purpose of the email, first idea plus explanation, second idea plus explanation, question to the recipient, and closing. A good timing strategy also makes a huge difference. Spend about 1 minute planning, 5 minutes writing, and 1 minute checking grammar and spelling mistakes. Now that you know what to do, here are some common mistakes to avoid. First, don't skip any bullet points from the prompt. Missing even one requirement can seriously hurt your score. Second, avoid being overly formal. This is an email task, not a university essay. Keep your language natural and conversational. Also, don't make your response too short. Strong answers usually include a reason, explanation, or example instead of just simple statements. And finally, don't waste time overthinking the subject line. Keep it simple and move quickly to the main message. Now that you've seen how to effectively write an email, let's see how you do on your own. Here's a prompt that asks you to draft an email to your university's dormitory manager regarding an awareness campaign. Pause this video, set your timer to 7 minutes, and start writing. Then drop your draft right down in the comments below. We'd love to see what you came up with. Are you feeling more familiar with the question types in action? Let's talk about how to prepare. Start by reading emails in English, newsletters, workplace emails, or even promotional emails. You'll start noticing how people greet each other, make suggestions politely, and end conversations naturally. Since you only have 7 minutes, timing is everything. Practice writing short emails in under 6 minutes. In the beginning, it might feel stressful, but the more you do it, the more automatic your structure becomes. Now, don't invent a new format every time. Stick to the template formula we covered. Once that structure becomes natural, you'll save precious time during the test. Remember, the graders aren't expecting a perfect business email. They want to see that you can communicate clearly, stay organized, and respond appropriately to the situation. Of course, the key to improving at this task is consistent practice. When it comes to structured practice, Study.com's TOEFL Test Prep course was built with the makers of the test, so the practice questions mirror exactly what you'll see on exam day. Study.com helps you track your progress and even predict how you're trending toward your target TOEFL score. Our personalized AI tutor also adapts to your performance, identifying the grammar patterns and sentence structures you struggle with most, so your study sessions are always targeted. The more you practice writing real-world English, the more natural this task will feel, and the faster you'll move through it on test day. Even a few minutes of daily practice adds up quickly. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification button so you don't miss our other TOEFL exam breakdowns covering the rest of the writing section, plus listening, reading, and speaking. Remember, we're rooting for you every step of the way. You've got this.